The latest Kangna Ranaut starrer Thalaivi went into a tussle between theatre owners and producers. While producers of the film wanted the film to have an immediate release on the OTT platforms after its release in the theatres, the theatre owners were fuming at this decision and decided to halt the release altogether. Theatre owners said, Thalaivi can't make it to your Netflix or Amazon Primes until and unless it has a very clear 4-week run. If theatre owners don't get that minimum window, it would be a loss for them, adding salt to the huge wounds that has gone worse thanks to the unforgettable COVID crisis. The producers had to finally give in, and Thalaivi was released on September 10th. And I am here not to talk about the film or how the film fared at the box office. I am more focused on the tussle that took place for the release of the film. And this is just one of the countless such tussles and fights that have paralyzed the well-oiled cash-making machine that we know as the Bollywood industry. This is also pretty similar to what happened recently back in Bollywood's big brother Hollywood, where Scarlett Johansson filed a lawsuit against the producers of Black Widow because of a breach of contract. And this is just one aspect of it. The changing times are also resulting in a massive culture shift within the Indian audiences that are hinting towards the death of an opulent and grander filmed cinema experience of Bollywood. But is it going to diminish the Bollywood industry as a whole, or there will be new models emerging? We will try to figure exactly that out in this video. Okay, so those who are watching this video for the first time on this channel, this is Paul here. I run this channel called Paulology Unscripted, and here we talk about the politics of art. And before we move ahead with this video, if you like the content I'm making for this channel, please hit the like button. This will help getting traction for this video and make it more discoverable for people. And if you like the content that I'm making, please consider subscribing the channel as well. And now let's get back to the video. Okay, now let me take you a bit back. Remember the pre-COVID days when you would go to a multiplex and there will be 5 screens showing different films on different show times all day long? Sometimes you would reach to the ticket window and by just looking at the sheer numbers of the films available on the large LED display, you would go like, yaar, dekhne kya aaya tha, wahi bhul gaya. On an average in a month, except for the IPL months of course, there were 15 to 20 releases when it came to just Bollywood Hindi cinema releasing in India, taking the number to an abysmal 200 to 240 in just 2019. Regional and Hollywood releases combined, the number stood at 2,200. Yes, 2,200 films in a year. That's almost 183 films a month, 6 films a day. That is just insane. But in 2020, the numbers plummeted and it never really recovered from there. Producers were forced to release their already slated films on OTT platforms, and the rest is what you are seeing currently happening every night on either your phone or your large screen TV installed in your living rooms. This resulted in many producers backing out from making new films. Many big budget films got shelved, actors went out of jobs, technicians cried for help, and the entire industry came to a screeching halt with no respite in sight. And while multiplexes might survive, India's already limping single-screen cinema halls is certainly dead forever.
In this Darwinian process of the survival of the fittest, single-screen cinemas that fail to adapt have been driven to the brink.
So why exactly Bollywood could not continue making films? Short answer is because Bollywood never really made films on smaller budgets and did not know how to tell stories without serving you grandeur on the platter. Imagine a filmmaker like Sanjay Leela Bhansali who puts more emphasis on how his films look, how the clothes are, how the sets are, more than his acting and writing of that particular film, or a Karan Johar who can't live without making his actors run in Switzerland wearing designer clothes. For them, making a shift overnight and thinking of a film on a lower budget in a closed environment with limited actors in is, I think, too much to ask for. The other reason is its audience. The audience have been fed a typical type of a film over and over throughout these years, and they expect exactly the same. Bollywood films do not have a specific region-heavy audience base. So when a Bollywood film releases, it's the overall scattered population that contributes to its success, and the Hindi heartland contributes majorly in its success that still is very much single screen dependent. With theatres being closed or going bankrupt, the returns are out of the scheme of things for producers, and hence they refuse to put more money in the already damaged pipeline.
अब इनमें से 20% सिंगल स्क्रीन सिनेमाघर यानी 1200 सिनेमाघर बंद होने का खतरा है। बड़ा असर मल्टीप्लेक्स पर भी पड़ेगा और देश की कुछ मल्टीप्लेक्स चेन बंद होने का खतरा भी है।
Now, I agree there are ongoing discussions and debates around how OTT is going to put the final nail in the coffin for cinema. Who doesn't want to watch films from the comfort of their homes? Will people go back to theatres at all? Is the new policy around allowing same-day releases to streaming platforms and theatres going to eat up profits for distributors and exhibitors? All sorts of questions came in with the rise of OTT in a big way thanks to the pandemic. And every radical shift in an existing model brings the element of fear. That's basic human psychology. But aren't these platforms also going to face the same battles if they don't have new films to release on a regular interval? And Netflix has seen the effects of it already in their dismal Q2 performance in India this year. But content and big film releases on streaming platforms is not the only problem Bollywood producers, distributor and exhibitors circle is facing right now. They are more concerned about the rapid behavioral pattern shift of the audience. Who would have thought otherwise that the most Google show in India would be a money heist in the year 2020? Or who would have thought that people would actually discuss about a South Korean cinema that has won Oscars recently on their casual Facebook debates? OTT platforms are making the Indian audience spoiled for choices. You, the audience, have become way too powerful with choices that is not good for any content monopoly to work. Now, with regional content expansion by these platforms to fight for acquiring the next 10 million users, the content availability is just going to be denser each passing day. And that's not good news for Bollywood or theatres at all.
Nothing can stop us. Together, nothing can stop us. The world will bear witness.
But OTTs have a long way to go in a country like India. Take this for an example. The two biggest streaming players, Netflix and Amazon Prime Video, are going to have just over 27 million subscribers in the country by the end of this year. Less than 3 crore people in a country of over 130 crore. Price is another concern for these OTT platforms in a country like India. With Jio's free culture, Indians have developed the habit of watching content on their phones for almost negligible costs. And these are the people who form the majority of the Indian population, who consider cinema to be a source of entertainment or an event. Festive release successes such as the Bhai films or a big Bonanza Diwali release are just some examples to prove the same. Making those people convert to pay for the films that they would be able to watch on their phones would not only be difficult but a near impossible task for these platforms to achieve in the coming years. But streaming platforms are making a smart move. They are bunching these apps together and putting them up in considerable prices for people to buy them. Much like the early cable TV days. But then theatres in Bollywood have already survived the TV wave in the 90s already in India. Why can't they do it again, you would ask? So let me come to the biggest elephant in the room. Remember the vibrant star culture that we have all grown up seeing? First during our parents' time and then the better part of our growing up days? What made Bollywood so pristine and special to audience in the early days is the very fact that the stars or the actors were inaccessible. Standing long hours in queues to get a glimpse of your favorite star was like the moment that you go to cinema for. The charm was real. Now with the advent of social media, the star is everywhere to be seen or heard. You can even DM your star with whatever little fan message you have. Comment on all their Instagram posts and see what they had for breakfast this morning. You see their lives up and close every single day. This has put the stars in the same league as, say for example, the influencers that you watch either on Reels or the feed posts or stories. And this immediate feedback platform and the power to let your stars know immediately what you feel about them has killed the aura of a star forever. And with this social media boom, content has democratized in a big way. Anybody can now shoot, edit and make a film. Reels and shorts are being made and consumed by millions in the country. YouTube is filled with new up-and-coming filmmakers trying out newer subjects, bolder storylines and unheard tales from unknown places. With OTT platforms giving space to regional content, more diversification will be in the cards, which will result in cinema further getting democratized. Cinema will no longer be an event in the eyes of people or an escape for people to evade reality. Every real moment lived will become cinema. Now, I am no expert in telling you if the future is sealed for Bollywood or not. But Bollywood certainly needs to do a course correction as soon as possible and learn from regional film industries like the Malayalam film industry, which not only handled the COVID scare impeccably, but churned out some unforgettable films in the recent past. I will talk about this in detail in some other episode because there is just so much to talk about when it comes to Malayalam film industry. It is only when Bollywood can look beyond its set precedent and years of formula that has worked for it, it has a chance to survive. बाकी इंडिया में जब तक सिनेमा है
लोग चूतिया बनते रहेंगे.
पाव सलाम. चलो, थैंक यू वेरी मच फॉर स्टेइंग टिल द एंड ऑफ दिस वीडियो. इफ़ यू लाइक्ड इट, शेयर कर दो प्लीज़. 100 लाइक्स की टारगेट करते हैं इस वीडियो में, एंड इट्स ओनली व्हेन यू शेयर दिस वीडियो इट विल रीच आउट टू मोर पीपल. Subscribe कर लेना also please if you find value in my work that I'm putting in, and press the bell icon as well, because if you do that then you will not miss any of the new videos that I come up with. Tell me in the comments what do you think about the overall future of Bollywood, and if you think Bollywood is dead already. मिलता हूँ अगले वीडियो में. पाव सलाम.